validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt up on the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher constantly, making my own climb. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. Whoa. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield. Standing on higher ground, where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds. Raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision. Cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield. To mediocrity and chaos, I will never yield.
How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. We dove in a few minutes late today because we're starting to try to see what's going on if we kick it off at around 10:30 or 10:30, 11:30. So feeling in some new waters because we're about to start finding the middle ground between daylight saving time and non-daylight saving time, because we did say that we're going to be consistent with our airtime. We are live 7 nights a week. So make sure that you guys like and subscribe. We got us a pretty interesting topic today. I did tell you guys that we do all kinds of topics throughout the week, year round. And today we're going to be doing a topic about self-worth from a masculine point of view. Make sure that you guys hit that like button, those heart buttons, as we scroll through the nifty shorts reels, so for you guys to see us. So if we came across your For You page or your feed or whatever, then you probably need to hear this. If you guys want to jump in and put your 2 cents in, you can throw your comments into the comment section as long as your comments are appropriate. And you also have the opportunity to click the link. And if you click that link, approve the mic, approve the camera, it brings you into the green room. And then I'll be able to throw you up onto the show. You can turn your camera off if you like, and we can hear your voice and listen to what you have to say. And we can have conversations in real time. Or you can maintain comments in the comment section. And you must be over the age of 18 to jump up onto the screen and say what you want to say. With that being said, let's see, we're going to be touching base. I just want to point out, I got to do some research. Somebody said that Donald Trump passed a bill that's changing the way divorce works. I haven't gotten confirmation on that yet. So I haven't put that up on the show. Coming soon. We did hear some information about the HB1s and the EBWs, the EB2 NIWs, and how they're going to be a little bit more stricter with the qualifications, which is going to delay individuals from getting approved. So while there is a decent quantity of individuals that are not approved, there's there's only 18% that are denied. It's just that there is only like 48% that's approved. So the issue that you have is that an individual that files will start the process and then probably roll over year until he or she is approved. Even though they have not been denied, they just have not been approved. And while they're not approved, they have to go through the processes of traveling back and forth through the country in order to get their maintain proper citizenship respects with the U.S. government. So we have that issue that I wanted to get more insight on. They are going after the IRS right now with their open investigations of the IRS. So they call it Doge, and I'm like, nah, it's Dodge, DOGE, it's Dodge, like the dealership, American made. But Elon is about to run through the IRS, so y'all might start getting audited because they're going to be looking at people's claims, their tax returns and stuff. So make sure that you'll behave yourself this year. But they're going to be looking at how much money is coming into the U.S. government. And then after they look at how much money is coming into the U.S. government, they'll be looking at where the money is going, which will help them with shredding some of the directions that the unsuitable allocations of currency will go. And then the sovereign wealth fund will give them the ability to better provide capital for them to buy TikTok. So as they work towards buying TikTok, we got about a month and a half left of the executive order. He will have to extend the executive order, or they will have to sell TikTok in order for TikTok to continue. But as it stands right now, TikTok, as I told you guys on Monday, has come back to the Google Store and the Apple Store. So if you haven't updated your phones yet, update your phones. Those people who have had active TikTok, I'm pretty sure you've seen that pop up every time you log in. That lets you know that it has returned to the Google Store and the Apple Store. So go get your updates, because the performance of your app will be a little bit more effective now that it is accessible for updates through American providers of the app. So I have to touch base with California to see what's going on with that flood that's supposed to be happening. So I'm monitoring that, as I'm also monitoring the fire that has not been put out but has been contained. So, keeping track of all the stuff that's going on in the country while we start talking about stuff that's happening all over the world is one of the best parts of this and that, because we talk about this, that, and everything in between. Now, today's topic, I want you guys to join me as we dive deep into the challenge of discovering what it really feels like to have self-worth. And this is going to be from a masculine point of view. Ladies, you can resonate with some of these things, because I know a lot of women misconstrued the self-worth and self-value when a man asks you, how do you rate yourself to your partner? You rate yourself based on how you gauge yourself, and always identify yourself as a 10, believing that you are perfect for yourself. But the question from a third-party perspective, understanding how you are determined to be valuable to somebody else, does not in any way, shape, or form diminish your self-wealth, but it does help you understand whether or not you are contributing to the environment and network that you want to be involved in. The same way, if you were to do a self-assessment of your work ethic for your job versus getting a peer-reviewed assessment of your work ethic on the job, where usually your work skills are never the area that people tend to frown on, because if your work ethic sucks, then the boss usually fires you. Usually it is the social ethics and the tentativeness or on timeness of the employee and the attitude and behavior of the employee, not necessarily the work ethic. So the fact is that how you doing, Money Airplane? I appreciate it, man. I throw so much stuff in here and I cover so many bases that I got to tell you, it's hard. because I go deep into these topics. Today is going to be only a little over an hour long because I do have a contract a little at midnight Central Standard Time, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. But usually these podcasts can run as long as 5 hours in a night. We're live 7 nights a week. But as deep as I go into a topic in one day, I can tell you that the next day, next week, the week after that, follow-up information when we're talking about other stuff, I can literally coin a show that I've already talked about this particular scenario, and I can highlight it and let you go back and watch the whole show, and you'd be like, damn, if you follow me from day to day, week to week, from all the stuff I talked about last year in 2024 to everything that's happening right now in 2025, and the things that I tell you this month that I kind of foreshadowed last month and will be foreshadowing what we're going to be experiencing next month in March at the end of Q1 of 2025, you'll be able to say, damn, he's piecing it together. And the reason why I do this, I want you guys to understand that we as people can make better choices and we can be more successful, because while I know some people are claiming that we have a racist government and a sexist government and a socially biased government and always something wrong with the government. The people make the government. The people make the country. The people make the society that we live in. The network that we have, the people that we choose to be in our network is the reason why we have a shitty network, or if we have a successful network. The job sucks, not just because the job itself sucks. The job sucks because the people you work with suck at social skills. Your people you work with suck at work ethic. The people you work with suck at responsibility and accountability and dedication. And the fact is that because your work ethic is higher than the people around you, that pisses you off. The job sucks because you're not respected as a human being by the customers. So your job doesn't suck because it's a sucky job. The job sucks because of the atmosphere of the people that are involved in that company, between the customers, the employees, and the management. Yeah, it has bad pay, but if it's an awesome environment, you're not really bitching about the pay, especially if your boss will let you get you some overtime. But if the boss is telling you to work harder and work less hours, you're going to be pissed off because you're killing yourself and you can't survive. So today we're talking about self-worth and self-improvement and self-recognition from a man's perspective, directly focused on the dudes. But ladies can learn from this because truth be told, yes, you can identify your own value. And the self-esteem, as Cat Williams said, is the esteem of your motherfucking self. So you are supposed to be proud of you for how you do you. And the fact is if there's anything in your life that you wish you could change, that you wish was different, better, less stressful, then at the end of the day, that there's something that you can do to make that change. And the issue that we have is that a lot of us are on autopilot in our lives. And because we're on autopilot in our lives, we fail to put forth the effort to make change in our life. We just say that it is what it is. We say that, when in Rome, do what the Romans do. But Rome was made by the Romans. So the Roman culture was the people. But when you are in that group of people, you do what that group of people does. You don't try to act different. You don't go to an Eagles game waving a Bucks flag, talking about some go Bucks, and Bucks ain't even on the field. You fuck around and get jumped like that. You don't go to the Patriots game wearing a Cowboys jersey talking about Patriots suck. You'll get jumped like that. So you got to understand that, when you're in a culture where they do it a certain way, you do it the way they do it. However, if you want to see things done differently in the environment that you're in, you got to change your environment. So you start it with the way you carry yourself, the way you behave, the way you treat people. Then you hold other people around you accountable, because if I'm going to behave this way and I'm going to treat you this way, and this is an honorable, moral, or somewhat shape or form respectful way of doing things, mutual respect dictates that you treat me the way I've been treating you. So I've set the standard. Now you have to meet it or get out of my network. Now you have to meet that or get out of my life. It's get out of my friend group, get out of my family reunion, get out of the relationship that I'm in with you, because if I'm going to treat you like gold, you're not going to treat me like copper. It's not going to work out that way. So at the end of the day, we have to remember that we have to start with ourselves, first person accountability, and then change the people in our inner circle's behavior and actions, or change the people in our inner circle. And then after we change the people in our inner circle, the people that walk in my network walk this way. So if you want to walk in my network, you must walk this way and talk this way too. And if you're not going to do that, you got to go. And as you expand that, you now have an environment that could be 2 city blocks. It could be an entire neighborhood. It could be an entire city, that everybody in that environment behaves the way you would behave, and you're not going to change the way you behave. So you're going to make sure that you have, how you doing, Gianna Rodriguez? Are you Reese's? No, not Reese. Yeah, Reese, Reese's wife. Because I think I have a Reese Rodriguez that was up here on the show a while back. No, it was Reese Martinez. See, look at that. I'm putting people together. Y'all don't even know each other. She said, I'm new. You seem chill. Yes, ma'am. I'm very relaxed. Some of the conversations we have here are a little bit controversial. Oh, you're only 16. Well, that's fine. I have no problem with individuals of all ages being here. By all means, make sure that you like and subscribe. You can learn something before society corrupts you, because this actually works in your friend groups. So if you're under the age of 18 and you're learning something on a podcast right now, you can take this type of advice with you to school. You holding yourself with a higher level of self-respect and a higher level of self-dignity. One, you're going to dress a certain way, which is going to keep you from being treated like poorly. It says, DW, my ears are ready. All right, down with it. So first of all, you hold yourself to a certain level of self-respect. So you dress respectfully. You don't, and I know that the kids like to dress, the girls like to dress sexy, or they don't call it sexy, they call it quote unquote cute. But if you're overly exposed, it's not cute. It's drawing sexual attention to yourself, and you don't want to do that, especially with all the horny boys around, because they're not going to be looking at you for your skill set. They're not going to be looking at you for your intelligence. They're not going to be looking at you for your ability to aid them in their success. They're going to be looking at you for only one thing, and that's not the one thing that you want people to look at you for. So you hold yourself to a higher level of self-respect. And then after you hold yourself to a higher level of self-respect, you hold your friends to that same level of self-respect. So they're not going to be dressing inappropriate around you. They're not going to be behaving inappropriately around you. This prevents the teachers from coming down on y'all about the dress code. This prevents the teachers from talking bad to y'all about how y'all carry yourselves on the school campus, which actually improves your relationships with the teachers, because instead of you being pissed off because the teachers are always fussing at you about insignificant stuff, you not doing nothing for them to fuss about. This improves your environment on that front. Then on top of that, if you have a network of people that you associate with, then that network of people ends up being behaving better. Notice, like, every time you come to the show, you'll see me in the suit. So that's never going to change. She said, yes, but in the world, even if you wear PJs, people go for that like, oh my God, it's crazy. Well, that's because you're not supposed to go outside in your PJs, man. That's why. Your PJs is supposed to be in your bedroom. Truth be told, your PJs is not supposed to be on your couch in your living room. Your PJs are supposed to be worn from the bathroom where you take your shower at to the bed. And then when you get out of the bed, your PJs are supposed to be worn from the bed to the shower if you take a shower before you put on fresh clothes in the morning. And that is the last time your PJs is supposed to be worn. Your PJs is not supposed to make its way into the kitchen. Your PJs is not supposed to make its way into the common area. Your PJs is not supposed to make its way outside your front door to go to the mailbox. Your PJs is not supposed to make its way into the car. And it's definitely not supposed to be at the damn Walmart, Target, Publix, Waffle House, nightclub, classroom, to where y'all wearing the PJs. That's the reason why people are going to be going for that, because PJs is bedtime, and bedtime for adults is inappropriate time. So appropriate thoughts is going to come from that. That's why if you're going outside wearing your PJs and you got appropriate PJs that's like long pants made of cotton with like sheeps and like SpongeBob and stuff on it, and then you have the inappropriate PJs that's like silk, satin, extremely short, where if you sit wrong, they can see your underwear, you know, the see-through, transparent, made of lace, made of satin, where or not satin, but sheer, where it's completely transparent, and you're not supposed to be wearing that unless you're in a committed relationship. And you're definitely not supposed to be wearing it outside. You're not supposed to be, if the brand is Victoria's Secrets and Victoria's Secrets is lingerie, it's not supposed to be worn outside, period. Because it's supposed to be a secret. Money says, build what others can't imagine. But you know what? That is fact right there. Because if you build it, they will come. But until you build it, they don't care. But if you build what nobody else thought was possible, everybody's going to want a piece of that. They got to come and put in on it in order to get something out of it. And when they put in on it, then they're going to be able to Donald Trump's ears. What's up, though? What's up, though? If only Trump was in here, he would be on. I would have to change this to a 16:9 and give him 2/3 of the screen so that he could tell y'all what it do. But you got to realize, like, this is the kind of stuff that we don't think about going in. And because we don't think about this going in, we assume that people are supposed to respect us even if we make a poor choice. And that's not true. And ladies, y'all have to understand this hard fact. Men are kept in a box. That's the truth. Y'all are free to do whatever y'all want to do, but y'all get treated poorly when y'all do stupid stuff. Men are kept in a box. A man is not a man if he doesn't behave a certain way. A man is not a man if he doesn't allow certain things to happen to him and he's strong and tough and he take that. A man is not a man if he's not capable of doing certain things. So a man is structuralized from birth till he die. And the expectations of a man has not changed across society for 200 years. Since women's liberation, women got all kind of choices. Women got all kind of freedom, and women fought for more responsibility while trying to get less responsibility in the same environment. That is an issue because your freedom of choice allows you to have freedom of scrutiny, which allows you to be degraded if you devalue yourself and you believe that in your society that your freedom of self-expression allows you to dress like an OnlyFans girl and be treated like a teacher. It's not going to happen. You cannot carry yourself with disrespect and be respected by your society. You have to carry yourself with respect. Respect the people around you, even if you disagree with them, just like we do on this podcast. And then you show them that there is another way. It's not necessarily better or worse. It's just another way. And if they like that way, they're going to get on the bandwagon and do what you do. I got a lot of people that come in here and agree and disagree with me. And the ones that disagree with me with respect. We're not cussing each other out on the podcast. We don't have to agree to talk to each other with respect. And the fact is that even though we have disagreed on this podcast, they come back day after day and we talk about different stuff and we go on both sides of the fence. And by the time we finish rationalizing the situation, everybody learns something. And that's all that matters. You ain't got to agree with me by the time I end the show. You just had to learn something by sitting here. He said, what was something you foreseen before others noticed it happening? Shoot. Let me start talking about how they took Donald Trump's policies and put them into action in September, and he was elected in November. Let's start talking about how when the fire first broke out in California, and I was telling y'all it was going to take more than 3 weeks for that fire to burn out because the eastward winds, because climate change occurs. But in January, there is an eastward wind from California that blows any cold fronts that comes from Alaska to Florida, which causes the last cold front in Florida. And that eastward wind hadn't blew yet because anybody in Central America would know it was hot as fuck in January, which means that eastward wind hadn't blown yet. And the fire broke out before the eastward wind blew. And the fire was headed to the west at the time, towards the ocean, towards the California ocean. It wasn't headed towards Nevada. So when the eastward wind heads towards Nevada, the fire goes to Nevada. But you have to understand that the northward winds come down from Canada. And when the northward winds come down from Canada, instead of it going east, it's going to go south. So it's not even going to go to Nevada. It's going to go from the beach towards the mountain and then head south. I told y'all that the first 3 days of the fire. 2 weeks later, it is in South LA. It headed south after an eastward wind took it east from a westward direction and then headed south in a southern direction towards Mexico. And now they have contained it, but it isn't out yet. But it's not going to double back because whatever it burned, it's burnt, and it doesn't have anything to burn to go back in the opposite direction. But it can still continue to burn because there's enough stuff out there to go on fire. And that's just some of the things that I've talked about based on logic, reason, and paying attention to my environment. We've talked about business and finance in a number of areas, but with the changes that the president started making in the economy, we started talking about taxation. We started talking about the impacts of inflation. I started telling y'all how those tariffs were going to impact import, export, and the inflation of products bought from China. And then just 3 days ago, I was telling y'all how my products that I'm ordering from China is taking an extra 7 days because it's sitting in customs for a week after Donald Trump just created a external revenue service that is run through the customs, U.S. Customs, where they're now forcing money out of the other countries to make sure that they got money coming in to the U.S. that's not coming out of taxpayers' money. And these are just some of the things that I've talked about over the past 90 days, not to mention some of the stuff that I talked about last year. So just to touch the tip of the iceberg of all the stuff that I've addressed, because I've addressed a lot of stuff on the show. Because we're 365 days a year, 366 on a leap year. I don't let the sun rise without doing the show. It's at least an hour long, if not, 2 to 5 hours long. And I cover a lot of details, and we don't just stick to one topic. We talk about this, that, and everything in between, just like the name of the show. So if something else comes up, we talk about that too. So when we talked about the in June, when we talked about the president at the time, in that case, and I was talking about how they were going to make that disappear, and then 6 months later that case disappeared. He was convicted without a sentence and the case disappeared. That would never happen to somebody with my skin complexion. We would have been tried within 24 hours. We would have been sentenced. I would have been wearing an orange jumpsuit by the next morning. You know what I'm saying? But billionaire, he's got the ability to make stuff happen. There's a lot. We talked about Project 2025. We talked about what it will do if they put certain things into effect. So those people in the LGBTQ plus community, we were talking about how them voting for Republican would have negative impacts on their decision-making process in the country because of what he said he was going to do during his campaign. And then he made an executive order about it. Now they got a hard way to go. He said he was going after porn. So OnlyFans is just a moment of time. He ain't got to them yet. But he going to outlaw them, or they're not going to be able to make money up there selling themselves online, which means they're going to go to selling themselves on the street. There go foreshadowing right there. It hasn't happened yet, but it's about to. As soon as he touched base on that, because right now the first 50 days that he's in office, all he's focused on is saving money and making money. But after he finished doing that, he's going to start making decisions about ethics. And we talked about that already. Some people say that the man is racist, but a lot of his decisions that he has been making has not been based off of solely a racial connotation. It has been either an ethical decision or a lack of ethics, and then a financial decision or a decision that stops unnecessary spending. So his personal choices has nothing to do with the results of his actions. Now, the people that are out there waving flags and starting riots and setting fires and lynching folks in the United States, that ain't got nothing to do with what he's doing in the White House. That is the country itself that is operated by its people that's keeping the people miserable. It's not that this man is probably on a private island somewhere smoking blunts with Bill Clinton until it's time for him to go to work, and he ain't caring what's happening to the bottom 99%. Because from a capitalist perspective, you make yourself successful or you don't. He already said, you come here or you don't. What's going on, Carl? Special shout out, Carl. Max the Poser, he's here. I've been telling y'all about Max for a while. Max, Joe, his father. I've been telling y'all how Max be coming up in here showing his love. There he goes. Good to see you, man. Special shout out to you again today. He said, all right, so let's go ahead and get through a little bit of this, because I got about 45 minutes of sharing with y'all today, and then I got to jump on this contract, but I got a longer show tomorrow, so make sure, because we're going to be doing questions and comments tomorrow from some of the fans that have provided us with some information, so we're going to be responding to them tomorrow, and we're going to be going over a plethora of conversations on top of that. He said, facts, man, you are woke for real. The good kind of woke that will never have you broke. I appreciate that, L, but you also have to understand is that because I do research for 365 shows a year, I'm doing what most Americans don't do. I go and look for a relevant, valuable topic and find all of the information on it, 20, 30, 50, 75 sources, compile all the information together. And then I take what I learned and I share it with y'all. I retain that knowledge, and then I add on to that knowledge with more knowledge. So I have done 365 topics in the last 365 days, which means I have researched 365 different things. And then I've researched the subtopics so that I could have the answers to the questions that were asked after I presented the original concept. And if I don't have the answer to one of the questions, I do a follow-up show and bring you more information on it. But I asked the question 8 different ways before I gather all the information. And that's one of the reasons why I don't always start the show at 10 o'clock on the dot, because sometimes it takes me an extra 30 minutes to organize 50, 75, 165 pages of information so that I can tell you guys what's going on. So it's not that I'm just like woke, because the terminology of woke stems from an individual that is more open-minded and accessible to new knowledge. But the truth of the matter is that I'm not just woke, I'm just educated. I'm more enlightened on the situation because I did the due diligence of researching the common knowledge that everybody ignores on a day-to-day basis, put it together, and then figured out how this information will impact my existence and the existence of the people around me. Then I make different decisions based on the current developments of the city and the country and the country's interactions with other countries, so that I can function inside of the system, since I recognize that when this system was originally created with the 13 colonies, I was considered property. So the system wasn't made for me. But since I'm considered equal in this system, I can benefit from the system if I know how to use the system. So in order for you to know how to use the system, you must first go and research the system and then see what ins and outs you have that you can benefit from without breaking any laws. And then you're supposed to take responsibility for your actions before you perform those actions. And then you stand by those decisions by any means possible. That's how you live life. Because uniformly speaking, if you're not ashamed of what you're about to do, and you understand that your decisions may negatively impact your long-term objectives, then at the end of the day, go ahead and do you. But if you understand that what you're about to do might stop you from doing something else that you want to do in the future, you probably shouldn't do that. And that helps you. So and this actually comes from my upbringing, to be real, because my parents didn't tell me, oh, you're not allowed to do X, Y, and Z. No, they told me, hey, if you get locked up, I ain't coming to get you. I ain't putting no money on your canteen. I ain't giving you no minutes. We don't collect calls. We ain't visiting you on Sunday. But if you didn't do it now, we'll come get you. So that gave me a choice right there. If I want backup, I got to make sure that I'm not in the wrong when I'm making my decisions. They also follow me with the same logic that I give y'all, is to do what you know is right, stand up for what you believe in, defend that by any means necessary, but only after you've accepted the consequences of your actions before you perform those actions. I did a show about that. It's called The 4 Pillars. It should still be up there. You can Google that on my channel. Max asked, what do you think would happen if William Senate tribe got shakes and knee surgeries from Ira? Is that like a riddle? Oh boy. Let me tell you about yourself, Max. Back to the main topic, because you funny sometimes. You need to throw me some more hellos. So having self-worth is often seen as a holy grail of mental health and overall happiness. And it is the foundation upon which we build our confidence, our resilience, and our ability to navigate life's challenges with ease. So if you don't believe that you can do something in life, usually you kind of quit. And you kind of just give up and just let whatever happens. But you have to maintain the level of confidence that you can accomplish something out of this endeavor, even if you're not able to accomplish 100% of what you were originally looking for. Okay, so he said, do I drink OJ's Simpson with your breakfast? It's really refreshing. Actually, I'm going to be honest with you. I have a bottle of OJ Simpson, and it is definitely refreshing. Did you read the book? It was a thick book. So without that confidence, we're left feeling lost, uncertain, and stuck in a cycle of self-doubt. Now, we also, without confidence in ourselves and confidence in our partners, we find ourselves lost, uncertain, and we find ourselves with doubt in our partners. And that's one of the things that ladies need to start learning, because At the end of the day, if you have a strong relationship with your partner, you trust and believe in your partner, the decisions that he makes, you're supposed to back that up. If the situation goes south, you're supposed to be able to back that up. You're supposed to be able to watch how this is playing out and start getting in where you fit in so that you can be collateral damage. And that way, y'all don't fail as a team. But if you don't trust him, if you don't have confidence in him, if you doubt his ability to succeed, I'm going to take y'all to an anime real quick, a cartoon real quick. It's like Captain Planet. If you don't believe in him, he can't do nothing for you. You're not going to succeed with him if you don't believe in him. Men function better when the woman that chose him believes that he can do it. Even if she subconsciously thinks he can't, if she makes sure that he know that she believe in him and she going to stand by his corner like Adrian stood behind Rocky when he was getting his behind whooped, he ain't go down for nothing else because he knew his woman was watching him and he was not going to be a loser to her. So he got himself just about beat to death because she believed that he was going to win that fight. Now, had she gave up on him, had she walked out, he would have hit the floor and not got up because he wouldn't have had the will to fight. He would have lost because she didn't believe in him. Y'all got to think about that. So when we struggle with self-worth, it's easy to get caught up in feeling inadequate. And we look at others who seem to be doing better, achieving more and earning more. And we can't help but wonder why we're not measuring up. Well, we compare ourselves behind the scenes. And these moments that we compare ourselves to, everyone else is seeing highlights of. Then they're looking at the highlight reels of all the good times in their life. Oh, to answer your question, Max, no. But they're seeing the highlights of our life when things are at its best. They're not looking at when things are at its worst. And since you're on the outside looking in, looking at how you piece together the highlight reel and make a fictitious story of greatness and ignore or completely disregard the in-between quills, setting up that success and maintaining that success, and assume that why can't you have what they have? Well, that's because you're only looking at the best parts of their lifestyle. You're looking at the best parts of the results of their decision making. You're not looking at the sacrifices they had to make to get there. You're not looking at the struggle that they had to put up to get there. You're just looking at like, oh man, I wish that I had the finished product without going through the tortures of making it that finished product. The ideology of a starving artist, nobody understands that a starving artist can be broke, homeless, hungry until they get it big. They could be struggling, working 5 jobs, living from paycheck to paycheck, working a life of crime, trying to make it until they actually make it. Now that they're rich and famous, oh man, I wish I could be like that. If you're not willing to go through the struggle behind the scenes so that you can make it to the highlight reel, then you're never going to have that lifestyle that is the highlight reel. And it's no wonder we feel like we're just not good enough. These feelings of inadequacy can be crushing, leaving us feel like we're stuck in a never-ending cycle of self-doubt and fear because we have the fear of failure that prevents us from attempting an action or a activity. And then we also have the fear of success. Well, what if I can't maintain this? Once I get in, how do I stay in? Once I become champ, how do I stay champ? Once I get approved for this college, how do I keep my grades up? Once I get this good job or get this promotion, how do I maintain this status? And God forbid you fake it until you make it. So you put your application in with a handful of lies and hoping that you're going to get approved. Then when you get approved, you hoping that you can uphold the expectations of the person that approved you because you didn't think that you could do it when you put it down on paper, but you're hoping that what you put down on paper will get you accepted. Then when you get in there, you got to try to win them over until you can do the work. Because you got to understand, jobs don't train folks no more. They want you to come to the job with 5 years of experience already. They're only going to tell you how to use their system. So if you don't have experience in this work field, they're not going to help you with it. And the worst part is, these feelings can be incredibly isolating. We'll start to withdraw from the world. We're afraid to take risks or put ourselves out there. This will interfere with our business choices. This will interfere with our relationship choices. Because if you've got a friend that you're attracted to, you got strong feelings for, and you don't have the courage to tell them, they will get into a relationship right next to you, which will crush your feelings and never know that you have feelings for them. But if you don't shoot your shot, you're never going to know if that could have turned out to be something positive. And that will lead to a long area of being rejected or self-fulfilling failure. And when we do finally work up the courage to take that step forward, we're often met with criticism or even more rejection, which only serves to reinforce those previous feelings of inadequacy. It's a vicious cycle, and one that can be incredibly hard to break free from. But what if I told you that there was a way out of that? Because while I tell you guys every time we come to the show that there is a way to break free from the cycle of self-doubt and fear, there is always another way for us to change our decision-making processes and start building a foundation of self-worth that will last a lifetime, which will lead us to an area of mutual respect, that will lead to an area of admiration and validation and appreciation from others, which will lead to us having more confidence because it'll be reinforced from the validation that we get from our society. And that will lead us to take more risks and more chances in a more positive and effective way, which puts us in a better spotlight. Now we're on the highlight reel, but it's not easy and it's not quick, but it's definitely worth it. Nothing in life worth having is not worth fighting for. However, when it comes to relationships, it is not worth being the only person in this relationship fighting for the relationship's success. You understand? You do not fight the desires of the girlfriend or the boyfriend to force them to want to be with you, to have a relationship, because you guys are supposed to be in this together. So if you guys aren't both putting in the same quantity of effort for success, then you're not going to be successful. Fireballs, what's up, buddy? He says, why do people usually buy properties in Egypt? He's out there investing in Egypt. People are buying properties in Egypt because the real estate is good out there, the same way they buying properties in Dubai. It just happens that way. If you're not from that country, you're a foreign national, they have a lot of incentives for buying stuff. I should probably run a show about Egypt one week. I haven't gotten there yet. I just did Ecuador on Wednesday. So I'm trying to remember which one I'm doing. Nepal. I'm doing Nepal next Wednesday. So we'll be talking about what's going on with Nepal coming soon. So what contributes to our self-worth is one of the questions I was about to get into. It is our personal achievements, like landing that dream job or achieving long-held goals. Or, is it our relationships? Because I know a lot of people believe that the love and support we receive from our friends and family validate us to a magnitude of feeling successful. Or is it the expectations of our society and the way we measure up to the world's standards of success? The truth is, all of these things, and yet, even though it is all of these things, it's none of them at the same time. Our self-worth is complex, and it is influenced by a multitude of factors. For some, it was realizing that they were worthy of love and respect, regardless of the implications or failures. The accomplishments or failures. So they are worthy of love regardless of their accomplishments or failures. I'm looking at two screens at the same time because Max came up here. Should I tell some girls I will take them on an island getaway and island vacation and take them to Epstein Island? No, you are not taking them to Epstein Island. You trying to catch a case. Because first of all the girls that you talk to ain't old enough for you to take them outside the city. That in and of itself, once you cross state lines with that child, you yourself, Max, is going down. And Joe is not going to come get you out of that. You talk about putting them on a plane and flying them somewhere. You better get out of high school first before you do that. You could take your friend's mom somewhere because you won't catch a case off of that. Put some of your classmates on a plane and take them to some. Shoo, you'll be on the news before morning. So it was understanding that self-worth wasn't tied to their grades, job, or appearance, but to who they were as people. It was a powerful realization and one that changed everything. So I'm going to go through this real quick so that you guys can understand and pay attention. Fireball and Max, y'all need to pay attention to this. Masculine self-worth is the complex concept that encompasses various aspects of how men perceive and value themselves, and it is influenced by a societal norm, personal experience, and individual belief. Masculine values, as defined in various cultures and studies, encompass a range of traits and behavior traditionally associated with men, and these expectations never change. Both physical and mental strength are emphasized, self-reliance and independence. So as long as you have to depend on somebody else for you to succeed, you are not recognized as a man. You are recognized as a boy, which is one of the things that women usually devalue men, because they feel like if a man is being taken care of by a woman, that he is not a valuable man because he is not independent and self-reliant. But truth be told, ladies, y'all are going to be in a masculine position. Y'all have the ability to be the leader of the relationship, and you have the ability to be the person that is the breadwinner financially, the supporter, and the men can be the dependents and still maintain a level of masculinity. Competitiveness and ambition is also included in that, along with risk taking and courage and emotional toughness or stoicism, which is what I was telling you guys earlier, where you allow certain things to happen, like the abusive, volatile behavior of women. I don't think that it's appropriate for us to allow that. But when the women start getting emotional, they start hitting on you for no reason, and you're supposed to allow that without slapping them back. I got to let my women know that, you're not putting your hands on me, whether you're my female friends, whether you're my girlfriend, whether you're my family member, you're not putting your hands on me. Ike, OJ, Ray Rice, I'm just saying, you're not putting Chris Benoit, it ain't going down. Look. But men, leadership and assertiveness is very important. Providing and protecting others is always an expectation for men. So not having the courage to lead the group, not having the assertiveness to change the direction of this conversation, not having the assertiveness to change the direction of the situation that you're in, where you're allowing the people around you to make bad decisions that through your own foresight and critical thinking that this is not going to end well, but you're going to go along for the ride anyway, and then you end up in a final destination moment. It should never happen, but that's what we do. Now, there is a focus on material success and wealth acquisition. So the more stuff a man has, the more valuable a man is perceived by society. And responsibility, such as taking charge of family leadership and decision-making skills, is one of the clashes that men have with women in their relationships. Because when a woman chooses a man to be her partner, he was supposed to be chosen and elected to be her leader, even though women are smart and capable and efficient enough to lead themselves. A dictatorship over a man is not traditional, and the way that women do it is overly aggressive. So it is perceived as more oppressive than what they would actually get from a man, and it doesn't end well. But she chose him to lead her, so he's supposed to be taking all the hits. He's supposed to be catching all the bullets. He's supposed to be making all the tough choices. He's supposed to be taking responsibility, and usually taking financial responsibility as well, which makes her a dependent, which makes her usually under his authority in that dynamic. And then she is supposed to follow his instructions and be a partner. Now, a lot of women are having an objection to that, but you can't have it both ways, where you're the leader of the pack with no responsibility, no accountability. Like, this guy's got to play captain save him when times get tough, because he's a man and that's what men are supposed to do. But you put us in this situation. It doesn't work that way. If you want to be the alpha boss lady, where he's going to bring up your rear and you're going to lead the way, you're going to take those shots, you're going to you're going to be responsible for everything. You're going to have to get your hands dirty, wash the blood off, and then he's going to have to come and clean up the pieces. Then that's what you have to look for. is being that person that's going to do it the whole way through, not being that person that starts sometimes and then backs off and says, husband, come fix this. Nah, that doesn't work that way. So Fireball says, does ice create Mexico to be cold? If the ice can make it into Mexico, cross that border, then possibly, but ice is not going to make Mexico cold. Ice is going to make Mexico hot, because if ice is going to not be operated by DEI, ice is not going to have any remorse. Because I know you try to do a metaphor there. ICE is not friendly. ICE is worse than SWAT. And ICE is going to treat you poorly because you ain't from around these here parts. So when ICE show up, ICE is going to take you and anybody who helped you. ICE is going to recreate when the Germans was looking for the blonde hair and blue eye folks to take them down. When they was checking attics and basements and stuff. That's how ICE is going to act. ICE is going to put you in a military black site that nobody knows exists, and nobody's going to report your whereabouts. And then until you make it back to where you came from, you're at the mercy of people you don't know. And nobody knows what's going on. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to go to Bay News 9. I'm going to go to Fox 13. I'm going to go to CNBC, and I'm going to go complain about how ICE treated me. Shoo. When ICE is finished with you, you are not in this country, with or without breath of your body. So you can't come and complain about how they treating you. Back to the main topic. I told y'all we talk about this, that, and everything in between. Now, honor and reputation, fellas, ladies, this apply to y'all too. Honor and reputation, from seeking esteem among peers, as well as the resilience to have the ability to overcome obstacles and preserve yourself, as well as your environment, your network, your family, are also additional aspects. And the ability to maintain self-honor, self-respect, and a positive reputation, as well as remaining honorable, to maintain honor in your relationship with your boyfriend, remaining honorable to maintain honor in your family lineage. You know, the thing about rich people, they have an image to uphold. If you acting wild, they're going to put you on a boat and send you overseas until the heat die down because you're making the family look bad. Poor folk don't have self-respect and self-control and self-dignity, which is the reason why they got the capabilities to be twerking on social media, dancing on poles, and acting ridiculous. Oh, I have the freedom and the right to do. But you have to understand that while it is your constitutional right to embarrass yourself, degrade yourself, and devalue yourself, because that's a First Amendment right to freedom of speech, reasonable, conscious, how would I address that? Observation of the situation. You're supposed to be able to ask yourself, even though I can do this, should I? And that's when like ethics and morals step in. Uniformly speaking, if I was on the outside looking in, would I be okay if somebody else did this? And the results of their actions impacted me a certain kind of way. And if the answer to that question is nope, I would not like it if this happened to me, then you probably shouldn't be doing this to other people. So take that into consideration, ladies. Now, it's important to note that these values can vary across cultures and time periods, and some societies are shifting towards more fluid gender and more fluid gender roles, while others maintain distinct expectations for men and women. But understandably, y'all, across most cultures, the masculine expectation is always the same. It doesn't change. Johnny F96, what's going on, Johnny? Special shout out to Johnny, first time on the show. So we had Johnny was the first time on the show. L Cool J was the first time on the show today. Carl came back, and Diana Rodriguez first time on the show today. So I appreciate y'all. Money Airplane was the first time on the show. Make sure that y'all like and subscribe so that y'all come back. It's biological. Some of it is, you right, some of it is biological, some of it is biological. You have some stuff, it's instinctive that you're going to behave this way. A lot of times a man's behavior is not something that is taught to him. A man's behavior is reactionary because it's genetically instilled into men to behave a certain way. Now there are some characteristics of a man's behavior that is learned behavior, but more often than not, the ability to get out there and go do, the ability to make it happen, and put your safety on the line, put your freedom on the line, and make it happen is instinctively characteristics of men that people don't really pay attention to. And you know something, that a lot of times men who have no responsibility, who have nothing to dedicate themselves to, do more stupid stuff and sacrifice themselves, or not sacrifice themselves, but sacrifice the people around them for the sake of entertainment, because they have nothing to dedicate themselves to. Ladies, one of the things that'll benefit you in a relationship, instead of dominating your man and treating your man like garbage, make it your man's job and your man's duty to provide and protect, and then follow his instructions and see how responsible he becomes. Because if he has no responsibility in a relationship, then, it's just like having a bunch of kids in detention with no teacher. They're going to start acting a fool because idle minds cause trouble. They start making irresponsible choices. They start making careless decisions. They start wasting all the resources because they have no responsibility. So it's not men that are dedicated to something. A lot of men become duty bound to their jobs. They show up for work on their days off. When they get a day off and they're not called in, they go and hang out on the job until the job get busy, because they don't know nothing else but to dedicate themselves to that job. When a man establishes a sense of duty to his woman, he's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that she got what she needs. But ladies, y'all got to release the reins and stop being so controlling and allow this man to put himself in a position to be in that duty role position. Johnny says, what, so a man can become women and have kids? No, definitely not, sir. No. He said, no man can become a woman. That's true. No man can become a woman. He says, so tell that to Bruce Jenner. Bruce Jenner is still, look, just because you paid to look different, don't change who you was. It don't change who you was, and it don't change who you will be. Society will treat you the way you act. Society will treat you the way you look some of the times, but who you are and who you were is usually the same person. But the fact is that your character, because your genetics is not going to change, but your character can change. Your decision-making process can change. Your identity can change, but who you are doesn't change. She started this all. People acting like dogs. They acting like it because they have no responsibility. They have no respect for themselves. They have no respect for the people around them. Nobody respects them. And that's why the behavior becomes mutual. So first step, they got to respect themselves. And then they got to demand respect because they respect themselves. And while demanding respect, they got to respect the people around them the way they respect themselves. That's how they start making some changes. Damn right. They got no discipline. They got no home training. That's why the little kids is out there fighting their teachers in the school, because they ain't got no home training. They ain't taught to respect adults because they're adults. They're not taught to respect the people that are in charge of them until their parents come back and get them. They're not taught to respect the people that they don't know until the people they don't know do something stupid. And then when the teachers try to do something to them, because there's only 19 states that don't allow corporal punishments in the school. All the rest of the states do still allow corporal punishment. But if a teacher put their hands on a child, then society comes down on that teacher. And then now the teachers are helpless. The children run over the teachers, and the children are not being disciplined because of that behavior. And truth be told, it makes it hard. So I love being in a scenario where they pay me individually to teach their children, because their children come with the best attitudes, because the mama ain't paying, daddy ain't paying all this extra money for you to be sitting next to this person not learning nothing. Shoot. And Johnny says, then the man, I listen to him. Shoot, we ain't listening to nothing. if I don't, exactly. They got women right now that if you don't listen to a woman, they will demasculate you. They will shame you. and they will make it seem like you're some type of homophobe. They'll treat you like you're some type of female. They will treat you like you a boy. They'll make it seem like you are challenged from trauma in your childhood, when truth be told, the trauma you're experiencing right now is the trauma that you got. So if you get rid of the woman that is not positively cooperating with your environment, then you don't have that problem anymore. And flip the script, ladies, if you're experiencing the same thing from the fellas, you got the same thing. If he's not showing you the mutual respect that you are showing him, and every time you try to stand up for yourself, he's devaluing you as a woman, you're supposed to walk out of that situation. And then, like Johnny's saying, we ain't got no problems. So recent discussions have focused on positive masculinity, which emphasizes using traditional masculine traits in beneficial ways, utilizing physical strength and courage for emergency service and protection, embracing risk-taking for innovation and progress, developing emotional intelligence alongside traditional masculine traits. Adhering to traditional masculine norms can have both positive and negative effect on men's mental health and self-worth. So men who strongly adhere to norms of self-reliance, emotional control, and toughness are less likely to seek help for mental health issues. Conformity to certain masculine norms like self-reliance and playboy behavior is associated with unfavorable mental health outcomes. However, traits like winning and status have been positively associated with better coping strategies and higher self-esteem in some studies. So there's growing recognition that self-acceptance is crucial for developing a healthy sense of self-worth. And the concept of positive masculinity emphasizes using traditionally masculine traits in beneficial ways, not only for yourself, but for the people around you, in your network, in your environment, in your tribe, because men that are looking for companions are trying to be the leader of their pack, and women that are individual are not necessarily pack designed. They're self-sufficient. They're independent, not self-sufficient. And independent is a lone wolf, and a lone wolf will sacrifice the squad to succeed. And that is not good. If you are sacrificing the squad is not going to benefit from your presence. Therefore, the squad needs to do away with you, because if you are not self-sufficient so that you can hold the fort down till reinforcements come, then at the end of the day, the squad is not going to benefit from you. You ain't never seen no 5-on-5 in Call of Duty where the person that's sacrificing their team, they're going to put him back on team for the next 5-on-5 round. If you not taking hits for the team, if you're not bringing the med packs to save your team, if you're not providing cover fire for your team, and you allowing your team to get plucked off so that you can have a high KD, then they're not going to keep you on the team, because your high KD does not help the fact that you're not a team player. So ladies, you got to be a team player. Johnny said, if I see a 40-plus-year-old man walking into a woman's toilet saying, "Oh, I identify as a woman," oh yeah, watch this. Bro, look, Trump made they had a few states in this country that passed a law that men cannot go into a woman's bathroom and women can't go in the men's bathroom. Trump passed a law to say that you are defined by the gender that you were born with, not the one that you bought after you got grown. So between the two, if there isn't a unisex bathroom, or there isn't a functioning men's toilet at that establishment, you got to go find another toilet. The same way they had the racial bias where it was like colored and white. And if there wasn't a colored bathroom in the nearby area, you had to go into the next neighborhood to go use the bathroom. That's exactly what it's going to be like with the bathrooms for the genders. If there's no men's room in this neighborhood, you're going to have to go to another neighborhood to go to the bathroom. Or, fellas, we're going to have to start pissing on trees, running lakes down the side of the car, because at the end of the day, the women are disrespected if they pee out in public, but we can pee outside. So unless we drop in a deuce, we technically don't need a toilet. Cody says, be a wolf. He said, yeah, no colored bathrooms. Walk across city. That's what they had to do. Yeah, that's exactly what they had to do. But that's what we're going to have to do now. I had that experience one time. I was in Pasco County, Florida, and there was a Shell station where the men's room was down for cleaning. Women's room was the only one open for usage. I had to drop a deuce while I'm over here putting gas in my car. I didn't pay for the gas. I'm in the bathroom. Woman want to get mad because I came out the room. It was a 2-stall bathroom. I dropped a deuce, washed my hands, came on out. She pissed off at me, talking about something. I'm not supposed to be in there. Well, what you want me to do? Shit in the lobby floor? Because if I got to drop the deuce is being dropped. I showed y'all respect, and I went and dropped that number 2 in the bathroom. I could have left that gigantic feces in the middle of your lobby and let y'all clean that up. He said, I piss on the door. Sometimes that's what we got to do. So, where was I? So, oh Lord, we got another one. Oh, that's a 10-minute warning. So we had to emphasize and utilizing traditional benefits ways such as using strength and courage to protect for protection and service. So some research has suggested that the masculinity crisis may actually be a broader crisis of self-esteem affecting society as a whole. So you guys are going to love this. To cultivate healthy, positive sense of masculine self-worth, men are encouraged to practice self-acceptance, acknowledging both strengths and weaknesses, recognizing that seeking help and expressing emotions are signs of strength, not weakness. So as men have been bottling things up over the years, where men aren't supposed to cry and we're not supposed to talk about our feelings, we really are supposed to be able to at least verbally express our discontent and disappointment in our society. And if we did this, then we would be a lot more healthier, because a lot of times our anger and frustration is because we bottle things up and we don't let it out. And then we just explode because we're tired of not being recognized, because we're not heard, because we don't say nothing. You said, is this Bible? It can be. This would be the man's Bible. I wasn't planning on preaching the gospel, but if that's how it's turning out, that's what we got to do. But define personal values beyond traditional masculine norms, engage in self-care, and prioritize your own individual mental health. Understand that vulnerability and openness can coexist with strength and courage. I'm not God follower. Hey, it don't matter, because even whether or not you're following if you were in a religious connotation and you were thinking about the Catholic and Christian Bible, King James Bible, Corinthians 1-31, it talks about how to treat yourself with respect, how to treat your society with respect. The Quran does the same thing. There's plenty of religious books that do the same thing. We have to understand that moral and ethical foundations stem from religious background, whether or not we agree to religion in you can claim to be a Protestant, but I could tell you what, when you was a baby and you wasn't old enough to make decisions as to where you went to church, you was brought to the church, you was brought to the synagogue, you was brought to wherever your parents was going, because you was a baby and had no choice. You was a toddler and had no choice. Your parents told you, come on, let's go, it's Sunday, you going. So you learned morals and ethics from a religious background, whether you wanted to or not. Now, once you were old enough to make decisions for yourself, you decided not to go. You learned stuff in the church, or you learned stuff from the behavior of the people in the church. You decided not to go to that church no more. You decided not to be involved in those religious practices anymore because you disagreed with them based on the knowledge that you learned. However, it still does not change the fact that you have a fundamental moral code that developed from a religious background. Now, he said, do you know what this is? He said, I'm still Protestant. Yeah, well, I decided. Right. And a lot of us decided that what's being told to us on a day-to-day basis is not exactly what we need to become better people. And it not necessarily is going to lead us into the kingdom of heaven, because I have heard in my history that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, which is one of the reasons why I tell people, instead of having positive intentions and making bad choices, hoping that you get a positive outcome, or hoping that you get a positive outcome and allowing things to happen, and then assuming that you're not going to be responsible for the outcome when you was there to make a difference. Okay. I say that you have to accept the consequences of your actions. You also have to accept the consequences of your lack of action, because you're first person accountability responsible for yourself and how your decisions affect you and the people around you. And first person accountability, you're responsible for your squad and how their decisions negatively impact you. So you cannot stand there and watch somebody do something stupid knowing that you're going to go to jail because you was with them when they did it. And you cannot say that because it did not impact you, that you doing something stupid that could have negatively impacted something else was okay to do. Because if you were on the receiving end of that stupidity, you would not be okay with that. So one of the most powerful insights I've had on a journey similar to this with self-worth was realizing that it's not something that can be earned or achieved. It's not something that we can get from external sources like validation or recognition. We expect validation and recognition, and we appreciate validation and recognition, but it's something that we have to cultivate from within when we're talking about self-worth. Our worth or our value from our partner, from our family and friends, from our boss, allows us to feel appreciated by the people that we sacrifice ourselves for. That's what we're looking for when we're looking for external validation and external recognition, is to observe that we are appreciated and valued by the people that we make sacrifices for. So it's something for yourself. It is something that we have to cultivate from within. So it's something that we have to choose on a day-to-day basis, every single day of the week. The most profound moment is when we realize that we don't need anyone else's approval to be worthy of ourselves, and we don't need to achieve some arbitrary standard of success to be enough for ourselves. We were enough when we were who we were, when we felt good about who we are. And it was a powerful, liberating feeling, and one that I wish most everyone that's watching the show today is able to experience. So what's the takeaway from all of this is that self-worth is a journey, and it is not a destination. It is something that we have to nurture and cultivate every single day. And it's not always easy, but it is definitely worth it. He said, don't have self-worth. Well, you got to work on that, buddy. Cold as ice. That's right, Cody. I'm happy when I'm happy, not when some beings say I am. Exactly. And that is self-worth. You are happy because you are happy, and you are happy with yourself when you are happy. You are not told to be happy, and therefore you are not happy because somebody else expects you to be happy. You are happy because you're simply happy. You're proud of yourself because you are glad that you have accomplished what you are accomplishing, not because somebody else told you that you should be proud of yourself. But if you are sacrificing yourself for somebody else, you do want them to say, I appreciate what you did. Thank you. I value you, and stuff to that effect. I'm not going to bed every day for help. I agree. So masculine self-worth is evolving beyond traditional norms. While some aspects of traditional masculinity can be positive, more holistic and flexible approach to self-worth appears to be beneficial for men's overall well-being and mental health. So he said, I reach out for something. Well, you got to reach out for help every now and again, because that's the only way that you're going to be successful, because you can't do it alone, especially in America. But what you can do is that you can let individuals know honestly when you need to get a little bit of aid in your success, and then when you are capable of reciprocating and providing aid to somebody else's success. And Carl always got wise words. You got to love yourself before anybody else. And then after you have sustained yourself, then you are able to provide substance to somebody else. It's mental health. Exactly. Oh, you're reaching out for some mental health. You always got to reach out to somebody for some mental health somewhere. So one of the things I got to do, I got to wrap it up today, because I got something that I got to knock into in 3 minutes. So I love to hear from you guys. Keep more comments coming as the show wraps up. We've got Higher Ground going to be playing after the show. Cody said, don't put jewelry on pigs and don't eat with dogs. That is a pretty nifty metaphor. Coach says, Nick Hurst needs some mental health support. Special shout out to Coach for first time he's in here tonight. Make sure that you guys like and subscribe and come back tomorrow, because I'm going to want a lot more of y'all's comments and interesting trains of thought coming through here. I appreciate you too, Carl. I wanted to have the show a lot longer, but I've got a 2 minutes from now, I got a 1 hour contract, and right after that, I got another one, and then 30 minutes after that, I got a 4 hour, because all of my clients start in Asia at this time. So, I got to go and make that money, because, it's all about digital nomads. So in order for me to make money wherever I am, I have to maintain my clientele. So thank you guys for watching the show tonight. And any comments that are continuing to be come through while the outro is playing. It's a 4-minute outro, so you guys can listen to the Higher Ground album that was dropped from Switzerland, where alanito.music dropped the album, and it's on YouTube. We got links to it in the description, as well as links to go pick it up from Amazon. So if you guys take a look at that or listen to it, you guys can keep the conversation going. And if you guys have any struggles that you've gone through with self-worth and how you were able to overcome that, you guys can drop that in the comments as well. Any insight that you would like to have, you can always throw that in the comments. I'll take a look at it and potentially do a follow-up show. And if you guys want to learn more about building up self-esteem and confidence, be sure to check out some of the rest of the videos that we got coming up, because tomorrow we're going to be doing questions and comments from the fans. So all of y'all's questions from today that I didn't get a chance to answer because we had to cut it short, I will be answering tomorrow with the questions and comments that I'll be gathering from the comment section that we'll be listening to and responding to. In addition to that, on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're going to be talking about money, ways to make money, ways that the economy is changing in all countries based on the decisions of the president of the United States, and how that's going to impact our ability to make and spend money and the valuation of our money, because spending power diminishes when the cost of stuff goes up. So your money buys less of. So I want to thank you guys for coming to this and that. Ladies, I tell you guys on my way out every night that as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking you ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. Remember, we're going to be here tomorrow at a little after 10 o'clock Central Time, which is a little after 11 o'clock Eastern Time, which is a little after 7 o'clock California time. And I'm going to keep you guys up to date about California burning the ground, TikTok still pending, what Donald Trump's doing in government. And thank you again for coming to this and that. While we're talking about this, that, and everything in between, I'm your host, Xander, and I'm going to see you guys tomorrow.
Higher ground. Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. Building inner strength, putting doubt upon the shelf. No more unnecessary drama, no more wasted time. Climbing higher, constantly making my own climb. Standing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. My network is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield.